When he learned that his daughter had a crush on the poorest boy in the class, the father began to follow the boy home every day. But as he watched his car's speed reach 20 kilometers per hour, he still couldn't catch up with the boy running. He could hardly believe his eyes. Soon the student noticed him. He told the boy if the speedometer wasn't broken, his running speed was as fast as 20 kilometers per hour, which meant he could run 1.6 kilometers in just 5 minutes. But the boy didn't care. He just told the teacher not to follow him anymore, then ran off into the fields. Little did he know that his running speed could not only change his poor fate, but also help the struggling country teacher's career take off. White was originally a football coach at a high school in a big city, but one day during a team speech, a mischievous player interrupted him. In a fit of anger, he threw his sneakers at the player's face. This violent teaching method caused him to lose his job again, and no school would hire him. White had no choice but to move his whole family to the most backward agricultural town in California. After seeing his resume, the local principal realized he had been expelled several times for using profanity to insult students. But since there was a shortage of teachers here, the principal still decided to give him a chance. White became the sports teacher at the school, but during his first class, before he could even finish calling the roll, 3 students skipped class and left because their parents were calling them to work on the farm. But compared to the big city, the people here were very warm. Just a couple of days after arriving, his neighbors gave him an old hen to welcome him to McFarland. Unable to kill the chicken, White had no choice but to go to the local grocery store to buy chicken feed. When he came out with a cold soda, he saw several students drinking from the car wash hose. He asked around and learned that these kids had been washing cars since 5 a.m. to earn some tips and then worked on the farm for the rest of the day. The kids were chatting and laughing all the way, but the dust in the air hinted that their future was bleak. The school's language teacher told White that most people here were poor Mexican immigrants who had lived by farming for generations. Even if they managed to get into college, they couldn't afford the tuition of tens of thousands of dollars per year. White wasn't focused here either and felt powerless to change the situation. After school, White noticed a student who ran home every day. His daughter told him the boy's name was Valdez. He not only ran far but also ran incredibly fast. This gave White an idea. The kids here ate large amounts of carbs every day, full of energy, and the scorching sun had made them very heat resistant. So he wanted them to try running as a sport. The next day, he took a flyer for California's first cross-country championship to the principal, hoping the principal would agree to form a cross-country team. Since it could bring in money, the principal agreed and let White go ahead. White then approached the fastest runner in the class, Johnny, and asked him to recruit 7 people to form the team, and he insisted that Valdez be one of them. Soon Johnny convinced the Diaz brothers, but Valdez refused. When White was still short 2 members, he saw one of the class's students, Jose, being scolded by the football coach for stealing coins from the vending machine. White stepped in to help him, saying that his change had gotten stuck and asked Jose to help him get it out. He also bought Jose a drink and recruited him as the 6th member. Valdez, who had gotten into a fight after someone insulted his sister, finally joined the team with the help of the principal. The cross-country team now had its members. During their training as they passed the grocery store, the owner saw these kids, who usually didn't care about their studies, actually running with the teacher. He couldn't help but admire White for bringing about this change. While they were drinking water, White noticed that all of the kids' shoes were worn out, and these were the best shoes they had. Time passed and the heat began to subside, and it was October when they attended the Palo Alto Invitational. White personally bought the team uniforms and discounted running shoes.